When you are reading a 50-page book or a 100-page book or a 200-page book by an icon of business or science or creativity or humanity or fitness, they are summarizing the best information they've learned over a lifetime of their rise to world class in their book. You really do collapse the timeline, and you really do save tremendous amounts of effort that you would have otherwise had to expend.
Hey, in this Top 5 by Top 5 video, you'll discover some of the best personal finance book recommendations for beginners. Enjoy.
Book number 1, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, chances are you've already heard of the book or you've read the book. It's a very, very popular book on personal finance. Now, within the book, Robert talks about the difference between an asset and a liability. And an asset is something that puts money in your pocket, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Simply put, an asset is something that feeds you, and a liability is something that eats you. And poor people have a lot of expenses, and middle class, they buy liabilities thinking that they are assets, and rich people, they have assets. And Robert also talks about the concept of creating or acquiring assets that produces cash flow, and then you use that cash flow to fund your ideal lifestyle. Great book.
And a book that really changed my life, and it's a classic, is the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Classic book, written over 100 years ago now. And Napoleon Hill was hired by Andrew Carnegie, who at that stage was the richest man in the world. He had a steel company that provided steel for the railroads and everything in establishing and building the United States. And he sent Napoleon Hill to go and interview the most successful people in the world at that time and extract from them their ideas and what made them successful. And so he put together the book Think and Grow Rich as a result of it. Amazing book. It will really help you with the mindset, because that's the number one thing that he was able to determine of studying the most successful and the wealthiest people, was a mindset and belief system that they had that allowed them to create financial wealth and success. And so it's a great book that I do recommend reading. It's going to go into a lot of great topics on goal setting and having a burning desire and having a purpose and a why and enough reasons, as well as even topics like sexual transmutation, where you can channel your sexual energy into creating more success. Great book, do recommend it.
So the first book I recommend is called Your Money or Your Life. Now, this book is interesting because it breaks down the relationship that you have between your money and your time. And the way it does this is pretty interesting. So let's say right now you're making $20 an hour and you go out tonight and you spend $40 on dinner. This book breaks it down that that dinner just costs you 2 hours of your life, because you make $20 an hour, you spent $40 on dinner, so therefore that dinner basically costs you 2 hours. And it's a pretty interesting way to start to look at things, that everything you buy costs you time. So let's say that $100 pair of shoes, that costs you 5 hours of your life at a job to own those shoes. Now, you shouldn't necessarily view everything in your life in terms of how many hours it's gonna cost you. You have to be enjoying what you're spending your money on, but at the same time, it's super important to be vigilant about what you're spending your money on, and in reality, how much that's really costing you in terms of your time. Now, I'm a huge proponent on this because I really enjoy saving and investing money that you earn. And it's so important too, because you can look back at all the years you've spent working and look at what you have to show for it. It's so unfortunate that so many people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, but at the end of the year, they have absolutely nothing to show for it. They have no savings, they own nothing, they have no assets, and instead all the money's blown. So essentially all the time they've spent working and growing their business and spending their lives making money is at the end somewhat worthless, because you really have nothing to show for it. Now, again, I totally don't recommend you just be a hermit crab spending no money, but at the same time, it's important just to be aware of what you spend and how much that really ends up costing you in terms of your life. I totally recommend this book. It will definitely open your eyes and maybe change your relationship you have with money.
I'm gonna recommend Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. So I agree with pretty much 99% of what Dave has to say, credit cards not being one of them. However, most of the things that he talks about, I believe, apply to a great majority of the population, and it's a great way to live your life. So the Total Money Makeover is pretty much a book about how to get out of debt and also how to eliminate debt using small little steps called his baby steps. So you can build the financial future of your dreams using these 7 baby steps. So I guess who this book would be for is kind of like beginners in finance or people looking to get out of debt and build that strong financial future, and just overall it's a good way to live your life. So my main takeaways from Total Money Makeover, I'd say the first one is getting $1,000 in your emergency fund. Sometimes being an entrepreneur, I just want to go 100 miles an hour and just spend all my money on building businesses or investing or checking out the next cool idea that my friend may have and giving him some cash to start up that idea. However, you need to have $1,000 put away in an emergency fund. That way it'll give you peace of mind to pay off debt, okay? So once you do that, you can actually start paying down that debt that you may carry, beginning with the smallest all the way to the largest. He calls this basically his snowball method. Some people don't agree with this because they want you to pay off your highest interest rate debts first, regardless of the amount, but I still think that this is a great way to eliminate your debt. My wife and I actually did this. She had some student loans, a car loan, and also some credit card debt when we got married, and we just knocked all that out using the snowball method. And then finally, growing your emergency fund. So basically, once you pay off your debt, you're gonna start adding to this $1,000 till you get to 3 to 6 months of living expenses, okay? So that's pretty much, that's not the entire Total Money Makeover in a nutshell, it's only 3 of the steps. However, those are 3 important steps that I took away from the book.
Reading has had a direct impact on my success, personally and financially. Here are my 3 favorite books on financial success that you should read immediately. First, Unshakable, Financial Freedom Playbook by Tony Robbins. In this book, Tony Robbins created a step-by-step playbook to transform your financial life and accelerate your financial freedom. Anyone can benefit from this book, no matter your salary or stage in life. This book provides the tools to help you. The second book is The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. The Automatic Millionaire teaches you about paying yourself first. You have to have a plan that pays you automatically to secure your future. It's unique in the fact that you don't need a budget or willpower or to make a lot of money in order to become wealthy over time. In 1 hour, you can set up a plan that makes you rich automatically. The third book is Rule Number 1 Investing by my friend Phil Town. Rule Number 1 is one of the best investing books that I've recommended multiple times. Phil Town is a personal friend of mine and a self-made millionaire. In his book, he teaches you the basic principles that made him a millionaire, starting from nothing. These are the same principles that the greatest investors in the world, investors like Warren Buffett, use to invest. In this book, Phil teaches you how to take control of your own money and how to beat the stock market time and time again.
It's really a pleasure for me to be able to talk to you about Ben Graham. I've had some lucky days in my life, but one of the luckiest was in 1949 when I was 19 years old in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I picked up a copy of The Intelligent Investor. It not only changed my investment philosophy, it really changed my whole life. I'd be a different person in a different place if I hadn't have first seen that book. I got a bedrock of investment philosophy that really hasn't changed ever since I read the book. I may embellish on it a little here and there, but it was Ben's ideas that sent me down the right path.
Invest in yourself and grow daily by subscribing to Driven.